Well, the latest mining operation to enter the competitive manganese ore industry is Kudumane Manganese Mine. Joining us now to discuss how South Africa is looking to be a market leader in the mining and exporting manganese for global consumption is Sechaba Letaba. He's CEO of Kudumane Manganese Resources. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, even before we talk about South Africa being a player on the global scene, was just you coming into this market at this time. And I was just saying to you that the timing it just seems to be quite difficult right now, the conditions in the global economy with everything that is happening and you starting your operations now.
Yes, there's obviously a lot of pressure in the economy globally. But our process is something that started in 2006. So by that time, I think the prices were good, even though we went up and then we came down again. But even given that, there are still opportunities out there. There's still demand, and demand is still increasing in the Far East.
I want to talk a little bit about that because, I mean, if we have seen demand actually pulling back a little bit, because of what has been happening, even in China. China is saying, they're not going to be spending as much on infrastructure, particularly with their spend going to the lower end of the market, not so much in their bigger projects. But with this demand pullback, where are you seeing your operations in terms of who your potential buyers are going to be?
As far as the market is concerned, we are in partnership with AML, Asia Minerals Limited. But these are the people who were doing marketing for the same type of ores that we'll be mining. These are the guys who were doing marketing for other manganese producers, the big manganese producers in South Africa in the past. So they understand the markets better. And besides that, you'll see, as far as our operation is concerned, the bulk of our product is actually going to be consumed internally, because AML has smelters in China, they have smelters in India, and right now we are busy with one in Malaysia. So most of the manganese, the tons that we'll be producing, will be consumed internally, and only 500,000 tons of that, of the 2.5 million, the 500 tons, they will be looking for people to buy there.
So the Northern Cape is said to host about 80% of the world's commercially viable manganese.
Yes.
The problem, though, is that South Africa only supplies about 20%.
That's
and you're also seeing this problem of you facing infrastructure problems where it's difficult for you to get your manganese from where everything has been done to take it to PE for export or even for distribution right here in the South African market. How are you going to overcome that obstacle?
Look, I think we should actually look back and start and begin with how legislation was like in the past. But legislation changed in the 1990s to favor and gave opportunities to more emerging upcoming black entrepreneurs. And you have seen them coming in, getting the prospecting licenses, getting the mining licenses. And that is actually debottlenecking. That in itself, it is opening opportunities and making sure that there's more competition from within the country.
But it's difficult to capitalize on those opportunities when you don't have the infrastructure to be able to get your ore to your markets.
All right, you just interrupted me when I was actually going to get to that.
Okay.
I was going to get to that. I was just expanding more on that. That if we have 80% of the world deposits, and we know that it is we have the richest in South Africa in the Northern Cape, and we are only exporting less than 30%. Something is wrong, and and then the world, or the rest of the world, they are sharing amongst themselves the 20%, and they are the ones who are actually supplying the bigger portion. Something is wrong here. Something is not right. We want to turn that around, and our operation, our mine, our role in this whole thing is to actually turn this around, because this is where the South African economy is actually lying.
What is your company going to do particularly to deal with the problem?
Now, this is how we actually engaging with Transnet, and Transnet has actually committed a lot of money over the next 7 years to make sure that the infrastructure is going to be improved, upgraded, starting on the line all the way to the harbour at the ports. They're debottlenecking everything.
Before Transnet does come on board with you, though, what are you going to do in the interim?
In the interim, we will have to go road trucking. So we'll be trucking to Durban.
So it's going to be quite costly for you.
It's going to be quite costly. So it's not something that a situation where we want to be in for a very long time. So the quicker we get out of there, the better.
Thank you.
As from April next year, we know that, you know what?
It's going to be a little bit better.
It's going to be a little bit
coming
better,
on board.
yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. I wish we could talk more. I wanted to ask you about listing and all sorts of things, but we'd have run out of time, and hopefully we are going to have you back in the program to get more into your operations and where you're looking at yourself going. But thank you so much for joining us.